Hello, precious people. I wanted to do a video on comparing two different, less expensive watercolor paper. So what I did, which is really kind of cool, is paint the same Portugal scene that I followed along with a Paul Clark tutorial. So I did the same tutorial twice, and even though the colors turned out different, I think you'll see that the papers kind of react the same. So what I'm comparing is the Strathmore, I don't know how to say it, Strathmore 400 series. So that one is, let me see, so that one is this painting right here. So as you can see, it's a fairly decent painting. And then the Canson, I don't know, that's the one I did this one first. So I spent a little more time painting this one than I did the other one, but that shouldn't really make a big difference in how the paper reacts to water and paint. I use the exact same paints, I use the exact same paintbrushes. You know, it's a different day when I painted them, so they weren't exactly side by side. But that being said, I think the results turned out quite well with both of the watercolor papers. So it's kind of more of a preference as you start using them over time, whether or not you like the one over the other, which one is more economical. The Canson, I got 30 pages in a 12 by 18, where the Strathmore, I got 12 sheets in the same size. So, and I think, I can't remember the prices, but I'm pretty sure that the Strathmore was less expensive. So as this video starts playing, I'm noticing that the side by side, I can tell which one is actually absorbing water a little better than the other. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but I believe the Strathmore is absorbing the water better. And the Canson is a little bit on the surface still, not absorbing into the paper. Hence, you can see the color's brighter on the Canson, but not on the Strathmore because it's absorbing into the paper. But sometimes you want it to stay on the surface, like if you're going to be using a tissue to pull up clouds on your sky, then you would want that kind of paper. But if you want to do more blending, then you want to use the Strathmore. Again, with this section of the video, I can see how I'm able to blend colors on the paper, which is really amazing. And for the Canson, it's not as beautiful looking in my opinion, but the overall, I can make it look how I want it to look in the end. So here I am just kind of doing the trees, getting that section wet and adding some color. I used different colors on both paintings, so they turned out a little different. I just wanted to show you side by side how the paints are reacting to the paper and how water reacts to the paper. So I did a little research on both of these, and the Strathmore 400 series, it has a lot more texture than the Canson. So just me eyeballing it, I could see that. So if you like that dry brush effect where it's really kind of going across the surface and only hitting the high textured marks on the paper, then you'll want to have Strathmore 400 series. The Canson is more like a hot press. It's smoother. It's got less texture. I don't know. I don't think it would work real well if, like, say you got a mistake on there somewhere and you wanted to scrub it out. I think it might tear up the paper a little bit more. I know reviews online said it was durable, surface, but I also noticed that my painter's tape pulled up some of the paper, and there were a couple little tears on it when I lifted the washi tape off of it, where that did not happen at all with the Strathmore 400 series. That one turned out to be great without any problem whatsoever with the tape sticking to the paper. So another thing too I noticed about the Canson paper was that there was a little bit of buckling when I was painting, but that seemed to happen as well with the Strathmore, and I don't think there's much you can do about that except for placing it down under some stack of heavy books and letting it sit there for a week and then taking it out and seeing if you've actually gotten it to be flat. So that's one way to deal with that. Another thing that I liked about the Canson was the finish after it's completely dry. It's so smooth and pretty. I really like how it looks in the end. But the Strathmore I really enjoyed painting on because it really holds the paint in the water and it absorbs into the surface, and I'm able to get different water blooms and backgrounds, and the colors seem to blend really naturally on the surface of or actually within the surface of the paper. And another thing too that I really like when I'm looking at both of them side by side is the really bright white of the Canson paper as opposed to the Strathmore, which has a little bit more of an antique-y white. And maybe that's something you're looking for instead of a bright white. For me, it really doesn't make a big difference, but I noticed that in the end, it does make the paper where I don't paint at all really bright white, like on the church steeple or some places on the street or in the road, I should say, or on the side of the building. They stayed really nice and bright white, whereas on the Strathmore paper, it's a little bit, I don't want to say dull, but it's definitely, it's not as bright white. It's more like an antique-y. And I guess if you're really looking at the side of a building, it may not be a bright white, so it just depends on your subject matter. If you need a super bright white, you might want to get the Canson. And if you want something a little more with a vintage feel to it, you might want the Strathmore. And in this part of the video, I'm seeing how I'm using my paintbrush to kind of erase some of the paint on that one side, on the Strathmore paper, the one on the left. And I think with the fact that that paper is very durable, that it works out well. And unfortunately, I don't think I did videotape where I did that with the church steeple where the window is, because I ended up looking at it and not liking how the window was too long, too tall, whatever. And so I ended up taking a wet paintbrush and just scrubbing it out until the pigment was lifted, and then added some more black, or I shouldn't say black, I should say Payne's Gray, a dark paint to make the bottom of the windowsill or the window opening. So that's why I think also the Strathmore is very forgiving to people who might make a mistake and need to scrub it out. If you're a beginner, I think the Strathmore is an excellent choice. I would pick it just because it's got a lot of good watercolor quality paper with it, and it has a nice felt finish too to the paper. But if you are on a budget and you just want to be experimenting, then the Canson is definitely the way to go. You can get a similar look to it. You just need to, I guess, you need to be able to overcome some of the challenges that are with that paper, which is also good for learning how to control watercolor paint. And so here I am adding some of the finer details with my smaller paintbrush, the Black Velvet Silver Edition that my husband got me. This is an expensive set. It came with 4 paintbrushes and different size round brushes, and I really love them, and I think they hold their tips really well and deliver a lot of water onto your paper. So I recommend getting them if you can. But if you can't, I learned using a cheap set from Hobby Lobby. And if you're just a beginner, you don't have to spend a lot of money on supplies in order to get good results. It just takes some time and practice and following a good tutorial online. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos that compare and contrast different products. So I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.